What's up, guys? Back with another video. I know it's been a little while. I kind of wanted to do something a little different. I know I've said that in like every single video, but we're gonna be shifting gears a little bit. I kind of wanted to do a tier list on a video game, and I wasn't sure what to do it on. Um, and then one of my friends mentioned Dark Souls. Not as a tier list, we were just talking about it, and and just in my head, I was like, oh, what if I ranked the Dark Souls bosses? Um, and I figured that there were two ways I could have done this. Um, I could have either ranked them on difficulty, or I could rank them on design. And I chose design because I feel like that's more nuanced. There's more to talk about. Um, because personally, I didn't find a lot of the bosses to be that difficult. Um, Dark Souls 1 is, in my opinion, one of the more difficult Souls games when it comes to bosses, but not because the bosses themselves are hard, mostly just because of the controls. This game is old, 2011, 2012. The controls are not good. Even on the remastered version, they're just not good. And you will kill yourself so easily. I mean, you'll just roll off the map. It's not fun, but it happens. So I don't know. Um, Getting sidetracked though. I figured design would be better, and that's what we're gonna do. I plan on making a video for every Soulsborne game that I've played. Um, so Dark Souls 2 will be next, uh, and we'll see where it goes from there. Um, but yeah, uh, little heads up. Um, the you're gonna see. How do I say this? So hot garbage. Okay, this is a tier that I'm reserving for bosses that were fundamentally, like on a game design, just bad. Okay, either the arena was terrible, um, the boss was terrible, or it's a combination of the two. Specifically, one of the bosses that's gonna be in hot garbage, just it's just not well designed. Or two, if it's really boring. Now, I will make a little spoiler. There aren't going to be a whole lot of bosses here because I do think generally DS1 bosses are pretty well designed. Obviously, you know, we're not talking about the shoddy controls because if we were really factoring the controls into every single boss, dude, like there would be 10 bosses in this tier, but we're not because that's weird. And I'm not holding that shit against a game that's what? How old is that game now? 13 years old? Yeah, nah. For 13 years old, the controls are pretty good. Obviously, in the modern day, they suck. Um, but without further ado, let's get into it. So yeah, we're just gonna get into it. So, I kind of want to do this in order of appearance, but this tier list is kind of just all over the place. So I'm just gonna go off the top of my head. We're gonna start with the gargoyles, the bell gargoyles. This is a really cool boss fight. So this is right before, or this is, I guess this is right after. I don't know. Everyone plays the game differently, but this is on top. This is the boss fight before you ring the bell in the church. And so you go through the boss fog, and then a cutscene plays, and the cutscene is really cool. The shot that it had, the shots in the cutscene are really, really cool. This is also a unique fight in that you're not fighting just one, you're fighting two. This was definitely a boss that gave me some challenging, or that gave me some challenge when I first played it. I didn't do this first try by any means. I think more difficult bosses tend to be a lot more fun because there's more to learn. There's more to, I guess, experience with a more difficult boss. But that can also go two ways. If a boss is just really unfair, specifically with the RNG, like where their move is, what their move is, how often it is, that can really take away from it. Um, so there really should be a balance between difficulty, skill, RNG, like that kind of stuff. I think this is an amazing boss. I mean, it's not legendary for me, and that's because this isn't actually. This is I forget what the community calls it, but it's a static boss. So you'll fight more gargoyles in the future, but they won't be actual boss fights, and that's kind of telling on how um, different this boss is. Like the Capra Demon, the Taurus Demon, you'll fight those later as well, but they won't be boss fights. You'll just do them individually, like they're just NPCs. Um, but they work because when you fight them, you'll fight them in the beginning of the game, middle of the game, you know. Or no, actually no, they're all middle or they're all early game. So when you're fighting them with, you know, like you don't really have good stats, your armor's not good, you probably don't have any like amazing weapons. They can be pretty challenging and they can be good boss fights. The arena is on top of the church, and this is probably the only thing I don't like about this fight. Um, you can fall off the church like really easily. One of the worst parts of Dark Souls 1 that everyone mentions is the controls. The controls are so awful. They just are awful. Um, Locking onto the gargoyle can seriously mess you up because if it moves while you're attacking, because the gargoyles they move quite a bit, you could just fall off the map. So rolling can be really dangerous. I just it can be kind of hard, but I do like the arena. I think it's pretty cool. Um, so yeah, gargoyle is a really good start. It's an excellent for me. So next we have the Taurus Demon. I believe this is the Taurus Demon. There is a lot going on in this picture, but yeah, that looks like a Taurus Demon. So the Taurus Demon is going to be the second boss of the game, if I remember correctly. It's right after Undeadburg. So yeah, it's probably going to be your second boss. I don't know why it wouldn't be your second boss. Um, it's solid. It's a pretty cool arena. Again, you'll be fighting multiple Taurus demons in the Demon Ruins. There's like 7, 8. There's like they like 8 of them or 9 of them, something like that. So yeah, kind of like the gargoyle. Um, but it is a very solid boss fight. You can cheese this pretty easily too. Um, so if you were struggling on this fight and you didn't know this, you could have actually gone to the top of the tower above where the boss fog was, and you can just bait him, and you can deal like massive damage by doing the falling attack. Oh my god, you can take this guy's health down so quick. It is really cramped though, and this guy's attacks are very, you know, close range oriented. So if your dodges aren't on point, you can just die. They'll take off all your health. So I guess for level design, it's not that bad. It's not too amazing, but it can certainly get a lot worse than this. But again, this is a static boss, so the Taurus Demon, you see it later. It's not really got... I mean, it's got a cool design and all, but you'll see more of it later. It's not, you know, this isn't perfection by any means. It's just middle of the road for me, but not mediocre. Not mediocre. And next, gosh, I really wanted to do this one last, but it's right here. So I'm just gonna kill the suspense. Bed of Chaos. Yeah, this is the worst fight in Dark Souls. And my least favorite fight in any of the Soulsborne's games I've played is the Bed of Chaos. So, oh my gosh, I got a lot to say about the Bed of Chaos, and I don't even know if I want to say a lot because of just the terrible memories I have. I died probably 40 times to this boss, and I didn't find a single boss in Dark Souls 1 to be too difficult, honestly, in my first playthrough. Except for this one. I died 40 times or so. It was not fun. I hated it. I still hate it. So this is a problem I'm gonna sidetrack a little. I'm getting sidetracked a little bit, but Dark Souls fans hate anyone who uses backup saves. And I think backup saves are kind of cheap because they kind of take away from the challenge a little bit. This is the only fight that I encourage you to use a backup save on because you just die, and there's not really anything you can do about it. Um, so he has three main attacks, and they get more aggressive as you go on. So there are three checkpoints with this boss, and this is a very unique boss in that it's not really a boss fight. All you have to do, okay, is hit like one of the tree branches underneath those orange orbs 3 times. So you have to do it in 3 different locations. First on the left, then on the right, and then in the middle. Every time you destroy one of those things, his moves increase in aggressiveness. Okay, but there's also a checkpoint, and no other boss in the game has a checkpoint system like this. So if you were to say you get the first orb and then die, when you come back to the boss fight, that orb will already be destroyed. So you only have to focus on the next two. And that's really cool because if I had to do all 3 orbs in one life, I think I would have died like probably like 50 plus times. I seriously hate this fight, and it's the only fight in this game that I can't seem to do. Even to this day, I can't seem to do this fight without dying at least once, and it's actually more like 5 times. Um, like every time I do this, I just can't do it first try. Every other boss I can, except for this one, and that's because it's just so badly designed. And there's been a lot of speculation that the reason this boss fight sucks so much is just because there wasn't a lot of time, and this was one of the later game bosses, and so they just made it like this. Complete garbage. I hate it. All of its attacks are RNG, so you might go to the first or second orb, and he might not even do the swing attack at you, which is the most annoying thing he does. And then one run, he'll swing at you like 3 times, and you'll just die, because there's not really anything you can do. The other thing I hate, in second phase and third phase, the floor starts to kind of crack open, and he can just knock you into that, and there's not really anything you can do about it. You have to be really quick with your swivels with your shield, because you'll have to dodge an attack coming towards you and then an attack coming behind you, and it's really hard to do. And if you don't do it, you get hit, and he does so much damage, and there's a high chance you'll just fall into the fucking void and die again. Poor design, but I mean, what can I say? It just sucks. It's literally the worst fight in the game. I really don't think there's much debate on that. So yeah. So okay, there are, how many are there on this list? I can only see 2 stray demons, and I don't remember how many stray demons you fight in the game. I think it was 2 or 3. I think this one right here is the first one you fight at the asylum. It's a really mediocre fight. It's the first fight in the game. The arena is nice and spacious. I'm just not really a big fan of the stray demon. It's not really like a standout boss for me at all. Again, it is the first boss you fight. So have at it as you will. The run back isn't cancer at all. There's like a bonfire like right next to it. So yeah, it's not like this is like a very poorly, unfair designed boss fight. It's just kind of whatever, you know? And I mean, to expect perfection from the first boss of the game is kind of really dumb, because it's supposed to be the first boss. It's supposed to be easy. And it's not that the Stray Demon is easy for first time players, but it's not hard either. Again, like the Taurus Demon, you can just do the fall attack and do massive damage. His attacks are not... They can be well telegraphed. I think they're well designed. Nothing too bullshitty for me. It's just kind of whatever, you know? It's the first boss of the game, so that's it. Then we got the second Stray Demon fight, which is underneath where you fought the other Stray Demon, if I remember correctly, when you come back later in the game, you'll fight him, and he's a little different because he's more aggressive. I do think it's a better fight overall. I think I like the Taurus Demon fight more. I do think this fight is a little more BS for me because he does the AoE attack like so often, and it's just really annoying to dodge. Even if you're doing this fight late game, when you're already like when you have crazy gear and crazy stats and a really good weapon like I did. First playthrough I had Quelaag's Fury Sword by the time I fought this Stray Demon, and I mean I made short work of him, but not to, he killed me a couple times. His AoE attack is terrible. He tends to do the air jump land attack, whatever you call that, way more, and so it's really hard to get some hits on him. And you can't really telegraph his moves very, like, it's kind of hard to do so. But I do like it. It's definitely more difficult. I do like the more difficult bosses, but to say he's hard, that's way too much of an understatement for me. But yeah, well-designed boss. I think it's solid. Goes there. Next we got Seath the Scaleless. One of my favorite looking bosses. So okay, where do I begin? I don't know if this really counts. I mean, I don't really count this. Technically, you fight him twice, and the first time you just die. It's choreographed. You just die. I'm not gonna count that because that's like more story for me, like because you have to die. So that's not even a boss fight. I'm not counting that. But the real boss fight can be really challenging to some. I didn't find it challenging at all. He does the attack where the crystals will surround the ground around you, or the one where it will raise up. He has the tail attack. The only reason why I struggled with this boss is because you need to, if you're going for the trophy, or if you're just trying to collect all the weapons in the game, whatever, you'll need to cut off his tail. And I think this is definitely the boss where that's the hardest, because there are tons of bosses in Dark Souls where there is a weapon related to their tail. Like the gargoyle axe, you'll have to cut that off. But he just moves around so much. And again, that's not really a diss because it's optional. You don't have to go for his tail, and it's way easier if you don't. The arena is pretty spacious, but you'll want to be as close to him as possible. I really like his design. I think it's one of the coolest designs in the game. He's like a dragon, but it's like he's bastardized kind of. So his design is really like representative of his character in the lore. Very cool fight. Some very cool attacks. Not too hard. His tail attack is just not fun. He does it way too often too. Even when you're not going for his back tail, he'll still do it a lot, and I just don't like it. But a very solid fight nonetheless. I think he's going there. He's an amazing boss. Who do I want to do next? I kind of want to get the trash ones out of the way. We'll talk about the Capra Demon. So again, kind of like the Taurus Demon and the Gargoyle. You'll be fighting Capra Demons later in the game, and they're demon ruins. But early game, these things can be pretty annoying. Well, you'll only fight one early game. I forget where this was. I believe this one was in Undead Burg. I'm sorry, it's been a while since I've played Dark Souls. I believe this one is in Undead Burg, or the place underneath Undead Burg. Forget what that's called. But dude, this fight is terrible. It's definitely not as bad as Bed of Chaos, but you're in this really tight area. It's this really like small space, and the Capra Demon is a enemy that is very melee oriented, obviously, but he rushes you. His attacks are all about catching you off guard, just slashing in, getting some massive damage in, and his hits hurt because you'll be fighting him early on in the game. And as if that wasn't bad enough, he also has 2 dogs, and I hate the dogs in these games. I hate the dogs in all the Souls games. They all suck. But as if having to deal with the Capra Demon wasn't bad enough, you have to deal with 2 dogs that deal poison damage. Oh my gosh. Oh, this was actually the fight that I died on the most, other than the Bed of Chaos. That's pretty telling, because the Capra Demons late game are like the easiest enemies ever. But Capra Demon, it's just not well designed. It's designed to fuck you over, really. The walk back isn't too bad, so if you're dying consistently, it's just... but I'm not really counting the walk back as part of the boss fight, because it's not. I did completely forget to mention, though, Seath the Scaleless also has a really cool intro, and that's also part of the... He's better than the Gargoyle, by the way, so... Yeah, for those of you that were screaming at me, no, yeah, he's definitely right there. And he's at the cusp of Legendary, but we got some really cool bosses coming up, so I'm going to just put him there, Capra Demon here. We got Nito next. I think Nito is a really cool boss. I really do like Nito. He's actually ahead of Seath for me. I didn't struggle with Nito at all. I thought he was one of the easier bosses. The hardest thing about his fight is the skeletons that he has around him. He has a bunch of the little ones, and then he has like 2 of the bigger ones. You don't even have to fight the bigger ones as long as you stay away from them. But the little ones, they really just annoy me, because you're trying to get hits in on Nito, and you just can't. You literally just can't, because those fucking skeletons are hitting you, and they're distracting you. But aside from that, I think Nito has one of the coolest designs in the game. His intro is... it's not too memorable, but I mean, it is cool. Don't get me wrong. One of the coolest weapons is like Reaper Scythe. Oh, I love the vibe that he gives. Definitely one of my favorite bosses in this game. I think it's well designed. I dislike his AoE attack, and that you're gonna hear me say that a lot, because a lot of these bosses have terrible AoE attacks that are just kind of unfair. His is not as unfair as the others, and it's actually just not unfair at all, actually. But it's this like poison mist thing that he does. He doesn't do it as often as, say, the Stray Demon, the second Stray Demon you fight is, but I don't know. He just kind of, I don't know. But I do really like his boss fight. One of the cooler fights. The arena is interesting. It's this like cave area, but you're not really gonna need space, because if you go far away, he does the far away fire attack. I forget what it is, but it will take a lot of your health out. So this game, it encourages you to stay near him. I don't know why you'd be far away from him though, because to do damage, obviously you need to be right there next to him. But I will set that aside. I think he's a really good boss. He's right there and excellent for me. We got the Moonlight Butterfly next. Yeah, this is also another bad boss. But it's not bad in the way that Bed of Chaos or Capra Demon are. It's bad because it's boring. And boring bosses suck. Dude, this butterfly just flies around, shoots magic projectiles at you, which he'll do it for like a solid minute, and all you really have to do is hold your shield up and stand still. You might have to do some rolling if you want, and if you don't have a magic shield or a shield that is good at deflecting, or not deflecting, but blocking magic attacks, then this can be kind of annoying. But dodging is simple enough. And then you just pretty much have to wait for him to land on the bridge, and then you just kill him. If you have a good weapon, you can just kill him in one land. He's really boring. I mean, I don't expect much from this fight. It is kind of just a in-between fight, like a lot of the bosses in Dark Souls 1. But yeah, I mean, it's just boring, and the arena isn't all that cool. You're just on like a bridge. I don't know. It's not really that fun. As I recall, there wasn't even an intro cutscene, which makes sense because you'll see more moonlight butterflies later in the game, like in the. Wait, where did I see one? The Crystal Caverns. What is that place called? The Crystal Caverns, like the place that you fight Seath in. You'll see some of these. They won't be hostile though, but they are later in the game. So it is again kind of like a stray demon Taurus. I mean, not straight Taurus demon type deal. But anyway, boring fight. Doesn't really care for it. It's going there. We got Pinwheel next. A lot of people can't decide whether or not they hate or love Pinwheel. And I'm gonna say that I do like Pinwheel as a fight. Um, Not the easiest boss in the game, because there is another boss that is really easy. um, or actually, like two bosses that are really easy. But yeah, I don't even know this. I killed this guy in like 3 shots. It might take a little more for you than that, obviously, but his attacks are not that hard to deal with. His most memorable thing is his dupe ability, where he'll spawn multiple versions of himself, and I guess you just have to figure out which one is him. But I've always been able to know because it's obvious. Um, Other than that, though, his intro cutscene is really creepy. I mean, it's cool, but it's creepy. But it's cool, so yeah. Character design wise, I mean, he's really, really well designed. I mean, he's just so creepy. I like those 3 masks on the child, the mom, and the dad masks. They're just so creepy. But it's a good boss fight. You can't even really call it a boss fight because he's dead in like 3 shots. But yeah, he's a solid fight. I mean, he is at the top of solid though. You know, but yeah, you will be fighting multiple Pinwheels later in the game, right before Nito. There's like 5 or 6 of them or something like that. So yeah, not that big of a deal, but he's a pretty good fight. We got the Iron Golem next. You fight this guy right after or at the end of Sen's Fortress, to get into Anor Londo. This boss fight can be really, really challenging, but I really liked it. I really liked the Iron Golem fight. So spoiler, you could just use Solaire, and he'll literally do this guy's entire health bar. First playthrough, I didn't know what summons were at all, because this was my first Soulsborne game, so I didn't even know summons were a thing. So I had to take this guy head on, and it sucked. It sucked because he does so much damage. You can cheese this fight with Solaire, or you can do it in the funny way, which is just have him fall off the map, because it's pretty easy actually. You just gotta bait him to do his lunge attack, and he'll just fall off the map. Sometimes he'll do it automatically. It's kind of weird. I've actually had him fall off the map on his own without attacking. So, yeah. The arena is pretty cool. I like his design, one of the coolest designs in the game. There wasn't an intro cutscene, as I recall, but that's okay, because he doesn't need one. He's a badass anyway. You can telegraph his moves pretty easily. That being said, though, they could be kind of hard to dodge. Yeah, you're going to have to be doing a lot of dodging in this fight, and damage tanking as well. So you either get really good at dodging, or you use like Iron Flesh or something to, I don't know. You know what I mean. We'll put him there. I think he's a pretty good boss. A legendary boss, actually. Who do I want to do next? I kind of want to do a... Oh, well. We'll just do Ceaseless Discharge. For me, Ceaseless Discharge is a solid fight. If you can even call it a boss fight. So Ceaseless Discharge is going to be the first boss you fight in the Demon Ruins, assuming you didn't skip and go straight to Bed of Chaos. But yeah, Ceaseless Discharge, he's this big lava guy. I forget the lore, but he's got a really cool design. I am not aware if you can beat this boss legitimately. Well, not legitimately, because the legitimate way to beat him is by doing what was intended. So pretty much, if you're not familiar, when you enter the boss fog, you'll see him, but he won't be hostile automatically. In fact, he won't be hostile until you get kind of close to him. There's like this altar with some armor on it, and you'll have to, once you pick up the armor, he'll get mad at you. After he does his first attack, all you have to do is run to where the boss fog was, and he'll follow you, and eventually he'll do a lunge attack with his fist, and after that attack he'll just fall and die. So there's a chance you will do this fight without hitting him at all, and the only thing you will be doing this fight is running, and I guess dodging his projectile, which can suck, by the way. It does a lot of damage. I've never seen someone beat him without doing the fall method. If you can call it a method, I mean, that's how you kill him. There's no intro cutscene at all, because again, you do this boss on your own time whenever you feel like it. So he'll just start attacking you the minute you pick that shit up, the armor. Very cool design, very imposing. He can seem like a very hard boss, but once you know what to do, he becomes arguably the easiest boss in the game, if you can even call him a boss. So yeah, we're putting Ceaseless Discharge, and I really like him. He's going to excellent for me, but at the bottom of excellent. Okay, bottom of excellent. We'll do the Gaping Dragon next. Definitely the no, not sickest, but ugliest looking boss in the game. He's got this weird mouth going on in his stomach, and that, obviously that's why he's the Gaping Dragon. But this is at the end of the catacombs, I believe. No, not the catacombs. The whatever. I forget the name of it. The sewer area. Forget the name of that place. But yeah, he's the last boss of that area. The arena is really wide. He has a very cool intro cutscene where he kind of comes out of the pit. Oh my god, that's a really sick cutscene. And then he does the scream into the air. It's so nasty, but it's so cool. He's not in mediocre. He goes at the top of solid for me. And that's just because how easy he is. He looks really imposing from his design. But once he does his charge attack, he like rests for a solid 5 seconds. 4 seconds, whatever. You can get so much damage in. If you just telegraph his moves and wait for that rush attack, you could just get all of his health done like really quickly. So it wasn't challenging. It doesn't feel like there's a lot to learn about this boss. It's not really like a skill thing. I mean, he's just kind of whatever for me. But his design, his cutscene, that shit is top tier for me. I think Gaping Dragon is right there. Personally. Let's see. What do I want to do next? Eeny, meeny, miny, mo. Catch a tiger by its toe. If he hollers. Damn, I can't make up my mind. This should be really easy. We'll just do crossbreed Priscilla. So yeah, crossbreed Priscilla. An optional boss in the painted world. You don't have to kill her. In fact, it's kind of sad. She like pleads with you to not fight her. And so yeah, she has one of the coolest designs. I think she has a really cool design. She has a scythe. Again, scythes are some of my favorite weapons in the Souls games. So it's really cool when I get to see one. She's a really cool character in the lore and the design. There's no cutscene. She does have voice acting though, and the voice acting is pretty good. She's one of the only bosses with voice acting. But yeah, she's up there. Her coolest thing is that she goes invisible. And when she does that, you'll have to figure out where she is based off of the footsteps in the snow. And that was a really cool feature. And that definitely did add some skill to it. Because it taught you, oh shit, well when she goes invisible, I have to telegraph where she is. I have to figure out, where she is, and I need to position myself in a way that her scythe doesn't hit me. Because yeah, you can get hit while she's invisible, obviously. Um, oh, but it is a really easy fight. I do like the arena. It's good game design. It's not like you can easily fall off or anything. Um, you're going to be fighting in that circle in the middle anyway. You're not going to really leave that at all. Um, but yeah, crossbreed Priscilla. It's a tongue twister, guys. She goes in excellent for me, honestly, like right here. She's amazing. Very good boss. Uh, let's do Sif. Sif is in legendary for me. Um, this is okay. So you fight this guy at the end of the Dark Root Basin. Um, Probably my favorite design of a boss in this game. And I mean, I know I'm so basic for it. I'm really basic for saying that because it's literally just a giant wolf, but he's so cool. His intro cutscene is my favorite in the game. He jumps on the gravestone and grabs the sword, and he like swings it in his mouth. That's really cool. Very cool cutscene. The boss fight is actually like pretty good. He has some pretty decent attacks that definitely require a little bit of skill. You'll have to get really good at dodging. Um, but it's not that hard. It's really not that hard. Um, he also has the most memorable theme in Dark Souls 1. Um, Definitely top 5 themes in any Soulsborne game. You'll know it when you hear it. It'll actually I'll have it playing in this video. You'll know. Very memorable theme. I loved it. In fact, that's the first time I've talked about the soundtrack. That's because I just really didn't find a lot of these other ones to be too memorable. I did like Moonlight Butterflies though. I'm sorry, I'm backtracking a little bit, but yeah, I did like Moonlight Butterflies. I did like her soundtrack. I liked most of them. So see, I get sidetracked a lot. But Sif, one of my favorite bosses in the game. I'm honestly gonna put Seath up here. I'm actually gonna put Nito up here as well. Um, this is my favorite. Yeah, this is pretty solid. Um, if you fought Sif, you know why. Not really in need of much explanation. So let's do the Four Kings next. So this fight is definitely going in excellent, at the top of excellent. This is after a lot of people's least favorite section of the game. The area with the ghosts and then after that you go to the abyss. And you fight the Four Kings. And it's just that there are 4 kings, so you fight 4 different enemies. This fight can be really challenging. A lot of people have problems with this fight because of how hard it can be. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I did it first try. I just Havel tanked. I used Havel's armor and then Iron Flesh. Sumi was really easy. I did it first try. Got all them in the bin, so to speak. But yeah, very unique. The bosses don't have a lot of health. I mean, they do, but it's not a ton. This boss probably gave me the most trouble on New Game Plus, actually. I don't know why I didn't Havel tank. I guess I wasn't thinking straight. But New Game Plus, this boss was the hardest for me, believe it or not. The arena, there's not really much of an arena to speak of. It's kind of just a black void. There's not much going on. You can't fall off the map though, so that's a solid for me. No environmental deaths. That being said, the bosses are cool. Very cool intro cutscene. The lore is cool. I like this fight. It's honestly right up there with Crossbreed Priscilla. In fact, actually, no. Yeah. I'm gonna put the Iron Golem right here, and I'm gonna move the Four Kings up. Yeah. Okay, that's solid for me. What should I do next? We'll do Ornstein and Smo. Yeah, this is a legendary fight. We all know it. Probably one of the most infamous boss fights in the Souls series. Definitely top 3 in Dark Souls 1. You fight 2 guys. Ornstein and Smo. Ornstein's the skinny guy and Smo's the fat guy. And there's a unique thing about this fight. That there's technically two different second phases, depending on who you killed first. The harder one is definitely Ornstein. So if you killed Smo first, then it's Ornstein's second phase. And there are 3 cutscenes for this. Oh, also, if you kill Ornstein first, then it's Smo's second phase. So you have a cutscene for the intro, which is probably other than Sif, this is the best intro in the game for a boss fight. So you have the intro, then you have a cutscene when Smo dies, and then you have a cutscene when or if Ornstein dies. And they're all 3 amazing. Very cool designs for both of them, very telling of their move sets. It can be a challenging fight. Definitely can be a very challenging fight. I struggled with this. I struggled with this on my first playthrough. And if it's Ornstein's second phase, you're fucked. Not fucked, but it's definitely gonna be hard. On New Game Plus, Ornstein's second phase is terrible. Worst thing in the game. Worst thing ever. I'm glad I did Smo on New Game Plus for second phase. The arena is so cool. I mean, you're in the cathedral. No, not the cathedral. The main room, the atrium. That place is so cool. And then the cutscene, they jump down from the top. Oh my god, it's so badass. Or Ornstein jumps down from the top. It's so badass. Yeah, I love this fight, man. I think everyone loves this fight. I don't think it's too basic of me to say that this fight is amazing. I'm gonna move wait a second. I think I'm gonna move both Stray Demons down here because they're kind of whatever. And yeah, that seems pretty accurate to me. But yeah, Ornstein and Smo, amazing fight. Anyone who says otherwise, don't listen to him. Hey, sorry for that cut there. So I actually have a good excuse this time. I just now platinum Dark Souls 1. In the middle of the last recording that I did for this video, I kind of realized like how little I remember about the DLC bosses. And so I was like, why not just go back to Dark Souls 1? So yeah, I filmed that last part like probably like a month ago. And so I've just been playing Dark Souls 1. And god, it was such a frustrating platinum. And I'm probably going to do a tier list on like all the platinums I've done and rank them on difficulty, but that'll be like way in the future when I have more platinums under my belt. Right now it's only like 10. But that is a video idea I have. Sorry, I'm getting way off track, by the way. I'm sorry. So sorry. But yeah, I did replay the DLC because I wanted to get kind of a better understanding, because I don't want to talk about bosses that I have no like recollection of. And this is the definitive boss tier list, so you know, I can't just not talk about them. So this is we're gonna start with the first DLC boss, the Sanctuary Garden. So I low-key forgot that this was a boss in the game. I didn't even remember that this was a DLC boss. Obviously, I remembered Artorias, and the dragon, and the, but yeah, I just forgot about Sanctuary Garden. I would say this is the weakest DLC boss, but all 4 of the DLC bosses are amazing. So it being the weakest doesn't matter at all. He has a ton of different attacks. He's very cool. His design is just a manticore, but if I was to just say, oh, it's just a manticore, then I'd also have to say, oh, it's just a wolf for Sif, or it's just a metal man, or it's just an ugly demon. I don't know. You get my point, though. Just because it's a manticore doesn't mean it can't be sick, and it is sick. Also, manticores are like so sick. This is definitely the easiest DLC boss and one of the easier bosses in the game, in my opinion. I know some people struggle with it, specifically because of how many attacks it has, and it can be kind of hard to telegraph some of that. but it was easy, kind of. Um, Overall, it was very exciting. And the first time you play this boss, you're going to be hyped. Um, the arena is good. No complaints there whatsoever. Like, you won't be dying from any sort of environmental bullshit. You won't be rolling off a cliff. Um, Overall, solid fucking boss. I'm going to put this in excellent, but at the bottom of excellent. I'm actually going to move Ceaseless Discharge down to solid. Um, and I'm going to... yeah, okay. And I'm going to have Sanctuary Guardian, like, right here. I think Crossbreed Priscilla is, like, better, though. Step up, definitely. Who do I want to do next? We'll do Gwen, Lord of Cinder next. So, first off, this is the final boss of the main game. This is the last guy you'll come to. No intro cutscene, but the arena is nice. I do like it. Again, no environmental bullshit. The boss fight is surprisingly, like, I know I've said this about like all the bosses, but it's easy. I know Dark Souls fans hate the idea of summons, but they're in the fucking game, so you might as well use them if you're struggling, of course. And Solaire just absolutely makes this fight a joke because the AI doesn't know who to attack, so it'll constantly switch between locking onto you and Solaire. So this fight just becomes like just so simple. He has some pretty cool attacks. I'd say my favorite is the one where he grabs you and just like blows you up. I think that, yeah, he just picks you up and blows you up. That one was he has some cool attacks, and he can be deadly, okay? Especially if you're not using summon. Most of these bosses are that way though. But when if you're struggling on this boss, you probably don't know how to parry, and I mean a lot of DS1 players don't know how to parry, because it's not easy, but this guy's probably the easiest boss to parry in the entire game. I mean, he's just, if you could just parry and not get, that's how a lot of people do hitless runs. They just fucking parry. Total cakewalk. But he is a very, very cool character. I love his design. The lore is amazing. I do think the fact that I actually am kind of changing my mind a little bit. I think the fact that you can parry him, like literally every moment of the match, it just kind of does take away a little bit. You know, final boss should always be, you know, just a step up. But I feel like this one was easier than, like, honestly, like half the other bosses in the game. But that doesn't take away a lot necessarily. I think he's definitely top 10 in the game, but he's like towards the end. He's probably number 9, number 10, number 8, you know, somewhere around there. That's still pretty high. He's going to the top of excellent for me. I do like Iron Golem and Crossbreed Priscilla a little more though. I am going to bring the Four Kings down a little bit. Oh my god, what the hell am I doing? Hello? What the okay, there we go. I'm gonna put the Four Kings right below Lord Gwyn, and I'm gonna put Crossbreed Priscilla up in Legendary. I think that's pretty fair. Let's do the Fire Sage next. This is like, honestly, or Demon Fire Sage, I don't know what his fucking name is. He's just so boring. I mean, dude, they're all like, mediocre is literally just this fucking stray demons. Demon Fire Sage beats out the other two because at least his design is like, technically they all have different design, not different designs, but different, like, there's something different about them, kind of. These two are almost identical, but at least this one's cooler because it's like fire. I mean, you're telling me this one is less cool than this one? Come on. Come on. I don't have anything to say. You could skip this boss and then the centipede and go straight to the Bed of Chaos if you really wanted to. This is just an optional boss. Well, Yeah, it is optional. I personally always kill Fire Sage and Centipede, but it's up to you. Um, it's just a stray demon. It's so easy. Nothing to talk about. We'll actually do the Centipede Demon next. Yeah, I do not like the Centipede Demon. It's just a whatever boss. A lot of people forget that he exists. He's a nothing enemy. He really is. He has like two attack. He has a couple attacks, but he just does the same two. Where he jumps up in the fucking air and you can just dodge it so easily. It's just not a fun fight. I don't like his character design. I mean, his character design is cool, but it just doesn't really stand out to me, honestly. No intro cutscene. Again, he is just a filler boss, and this. I don't know if I mentioned this before in the other cut that I did, but the second half of Dark Souls 1 is definitely a lot weaker than the first half, and that really shows in the bosses, specifically the ones that aren't tied to the story in any meaningful way. So you just get a bunch of filler bosses like Centipede and Fire Sage, or you end up with a boss like Bed of Chaos, which is just complete dog shit. I mean, seriously. Um, yeah, Centipede is up there. I do think it beats the Stray Demons out though, because it's not a Stray Demon, and I mean, at least it's original in some way. By the way, the only reason these guys aren't in hot garbage is because I have genuine like problems with these bosses on a fundamental gameplay level. These bosses are just unoriginal, and there's a difference. So, yeah, for anyone that was wondering, um, let me think. Uh, I'm nah, no. We'll do Dark Sun Gwendolyn next. But I was thinking of putting Pinwheel down. A lot of people I was reading online, a lot of people hate Pinwheel. I don't. I don't. I mean, a lot of people complain he's too easy and he's kind of a joke boss. But I mean, I think there's 25 bosses in Dark Souls 1, including the DLC. Um, I mean, you can have one boss that's kind of just there. I don't mind. It's not another Stray Demon. It's unique. He's got his own thing going on. He has his own unique attacks. It's whatever. I don't mind. I like his character design. I like the arena. So yeah, I'm sorry, I got sidetracked there. We're doing Dark Sun Gwendolyn next. Um, this boss, there's kind of a phenomenon that I have with this guy. Um, the first time I fight him, I always die, no matter what I'm doing. Doesn't matter what playthrough, I always die first time. It's usually the beam attack that gets me because it just kills you immediately if you're on like New Game or New Game Plus, because it just does so much damage. But the second time, I don't get hit at all. Um, so have at that as you will. Um, I think this boss is pretty solid. Very solid lore. He's from some great lore. Um, the arena is very unique. Probably the most unique arena in that it's technically infinite. You could just constantly have Gwendolyn move back and back and back, and so the arena could be like miles in game long. Um, so yeah, if you're like me and you died after she teleported like 6 times, you're gonna have to walk back all that way. Um, and I'm pretty sure there's a glitch with this fight where if she teleports back like 4, 5, 6 times and you die, um, if you're not able to collect those souls before you kill her, and then the arena goes back to normal, you'll just lose those souls. That's what I've heard, at least. I haven't had that happen to me because I've always been able to get my souls back. But yeah, I'd watch out. It's pretty bad game design. But overall, it's not a bad fight. I would say um, I don't hate it. But honestly, if this wasn't an optional fight, it would be lower. Again, I do kind of have more sympathy towards optional fights because I'm not gonna lie, optional fights in these games tend to be a lot weaker. The only exception is Crossbreed Priscilla. But yeah, optional fights, I don't hold them to the same standard. as main story fights, but you know, I do expect something from them. I do think Dark Sun Gwendolyn is a solid fight. It's definitely at the top of solid for me. It's right there. Let's do possibly the best boss in the game. Was gonna leave him to last, but I don't really know if he's my favorite. Artorias, the Abyss Walker. So yeah, it's a legendary fight. This is for most people, or not all, but a lot of people, like their favorite boss fight in the game. I mean, I don't have to say a lot, do I? He's arguably the hardest boss in the game. He's fast, tons of moves, does so much damage. But he's a fun boss fight. You don't really feel I mean, you can feel overwhelmed, but it's not impossible. He definitely has the best lore in the entire game. He's a knight. But his like legacy was built entirely on a lie. But even then, he like continues to fight in the abyss, to fight the abyss, not in the abyss. And he only has like one arm to wield. It's so sick. He has such a cool character design. I really do like his lore as well. But you're also given, when you meet him, you're given like two jobs, and that's to put him out of his misery, and to like make good on his legend. And it's like it's so cool. It's so cool. When you put Sif's lore together with Artorias, like it just becomes like one of the most interesting stories in all of Dark Souls. Like I love it so much. I love it. Amazing. My two favorite fights right here. I think Sif is better, not better objectively, but subjectively I just like wolves. Let's do Black Dragon. Kalameet, I forgot his name. Kalameet. Solid fucking boss. Excellent. Top excellent. He's fast as shit, dude. You gotta watch when you fight him. You gotta watch out, bro. He will run you down. He'll blast you with fire. He'll kill you before you can even blink, I guess. He does have a pretty solid health pool. I don't think this fight is unfair by any means. It's just hard, obviously. I don't know. I really like this fight. There's not really a lot to say. The arena is kind of annoying. I did like the song. By the way, this goes for all the DLC bosses, but their soundtracks are amazing. But I did like Black Dragons a lot. Unless I'm getting his confused with Artorias. I don't know, maybe I am. Anyway, moving on, we got Quelaag, however you say it, Chaos Witch Quelaag. She is like right here for me. She's a very good balance between difficulty, fun, good lore. She's the daughter of the Witch of Izalith. She has some really cool lore. You gotta look into it if you're really interested. But, I gotta just say this because it's cool. But whenever like an undead comes to ring the bell, she claims their humanity and feeds it to her dying sibling. And I didn't know that until recently. I did not know that. But I'm telling you, bro, Dark Souls 1 lore is like, you gotta actually like look into that stuff. They don't tell you. But she's really cool. Her attacks can be really annoying. It can be kind of hard to tell what she's gonna do because the animation before she does her attacks like kind of seems the same. But she's not that bad. She's just a mid-game boss. You could actually beat her the minute you get out of the asylum. She could be like your second boss. I don't know why you do that to yourself, but you could. Very fun fight. Arena's pretty good. It's pretty solid space, and you do need a lot of space to fight her because she is a close quarters combat type of guy, or spider, whatever the hell. So yeah, pretty solid. And then the last one is Manus, Father of the Abyss. This guy's crazy cool, man. He's actually at the top. He's up here in legendary for me, honestly. Yeah, I'm gonna move some things around. Okay, that's pretty fair. Dude, he's fast. He hits hard. He's got magic. Um, yeah, I've always had a hard time fighting him. There's never been a time where it's easy. He's the second hardest boss in the DLC. He's a very, 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 very cool character in terms of lore. Um, he's just a very cool guy. I know I'm like kind of repeating myself a little bit. Um, I do hate him though. He's an asshole. If you know, you know. Um, he's just kind of an asshole. His character design is amazing. Um, God, I'm saying a lot. Sorry, but damn. Yeah, I think he's solid right there. I didn't. Gosh, I don't even remember what his arena was. I just played him. I just beat him. I don't remember his arena. I don't remember. I can't say if it was bad or not, but I do remember the boss fight was amazing. And that's the list, guys. Sorry if this video is hella long. I won't know until I go look. But that's the Dark Souls 1 bosses. I plan on doing Dark Souls 2 next. I'm not sure when that will be. I don't know if I'm going to do a video in between that. But these videos are fun. If you guys got any ideas, leave them in the comments. Maybe you got some disagreements. Let me know. Let me know if you agreed with me. Let me know what you thought. But yeah, thanks for watching, guys. Have a good one.